Greetings to the Irwin High School family. Let me use this opportunity to express my sincere condolences to the Irwin High School and especially to the families that are directly involved. I am Anissa Wilson-Smith from Life Skills Education, and I want to let you know that we are grieving with you. We are saddened by what took place. We're saddened by the death of another of Jamaica's promising future. We're indeed saddened by what is happening in our schools. We're saddened by what is happening in our society. And so the purpose of this video is to share with parents, to share with teachers also about some of the strategies and techniques that you can use to help the children, because the children are traumatized. You're traumatized. Teachers are traumatized. We're all traumatized by what is happening. And so I'm going to be sharing some tips with you. But before I share those tips, allow me to tell you a little bit about life skills education and what it is that we do. So first of all, we are a partner with the Irwin High School. We just implemented a form time empowerment program there where we're basically helping to garner certain life skills, or we call them social and emotional skills, for the teachers. Because the teachers themselves, they first of all have to be equipped with these skills to help themselves so that they can pour into the children. So we started that program there, Form Time Empowerment. We were also called in to train all the grade 7s coming into school. They were trained in emotional management, stress management, social skills, and we'll be seeking to expand those trainings to all the students from grade 7 all the way up to grade 11. We'll be seeking to have that, because the time that we're living in, it requires that every single person possess the social and emotional competencies to deal with the challenges that we are experiencing in Jamaica today. So our mantra at Life Skills Education is empowering minds, enriching lives. And our vision is very simple, is to create a more caring and competent world through character education and social and emotional learning. We have 3 core values. They are lifelong learning, integrity, and partnerships. Our philosophy comes from Greek philosopher Aristotle, who said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. So some of the services that we provide for schools, we provide character education books, social and emotional learning books, charts, and other resources. We also provide character education and social and emotional workshops, both for schools, for businesses. We provide coaching services, we provide courses also in social and emotional learning and character education. So let me go to the objectives of the session. We are going to talk a little bit about the situation of crime and violence in Jamaica, especially as it relates to our children. We're going to also explore the role of parents in helping to reduce and prevent violence among our children. And finally, I'll be sharing with you some coping tips for children who are experiencing trauma. So let's talk about the situation as it relates to violence. The National Youth Policy reports that youth between the ages of 15 to 29, they are the main perpetrators and victims of crime and violence. And I'm sure you already know that Jamaica has the second highest murder rate in the world. So we have a serious, serious crime problem. Let me share with you another statistics. It shows that 68 out of every 100,000 Jamaican children are victims of violent crimes. And about 65% of students are bullied at school, and 79% of children witness violence in their community or at home. And this was a UNICEF report, right? So just imagine that 65% of students are bullied and 79% witness, that's almost 80%, witness violence in their community or home. So this is a tragedy. This is at highest proportion. Crime is at the highest. It is terrible. And so what we're seeing in the school is a reflection of society. Let me share something from the National Educational Strategic Plan. This is what it says. The school is a microcosm of society, and the high level of antisocial and violent behavior evident in society is proven to be a challenge to the management of schools, which have been experiencing increasingly frequent incidents of gang violence and other negative behaviors. Schools are not adequately prepared for such incidents. So violence in school is not the fault of any one school, but is the result of failed systems of socialization. The family has failed, or churches, the schools, the government, the media, the private sector. We overall, we have failed to protect our children. We all have to look in the mirror and ask, have I done my part? It's a systematic failure. And so we all the different agents of socialization, we have our roles to play. But I'm going to start with us as a parent. I'm a parent myself, right? And so I'm going to start with parenting. We must practice effective parenting. That's the first step. No, I want to remind you, parents, that you are your children's first role model. Be a good role model for yourself and your children. And I want you to reflect upon these questions. Are you a good role model for your children? What values and attitudes do you live by? What life lessons do you teach your children? How do you handle conflicts? How do you cope with anger, frustration, and the stresses of life? How do you show empathy and understanding for yourself and others? How do you behave when you get upset? What is the quality of the relationship that you have with your children? How much quality time do you spend with your children? How do you communicate with them? How do you support them at school and the programs that the schools put in place for your children to thrive? How do you support those programs? How much do you value your children's education? How do you take care of your own physical, emotional, social, spiritual, and financial well-being? How do you discipline your children? How do you teach your children about their responsibilities? Because we love to talk about the rights of children, but somehow forget that children must be taught and held accountable and must be responsible. How do you uphold the rights of your children? Because they do have rights. But remembering that every single right comes with a responsibility. What kind of support system do you have in place to help you with raising your children to become productive, caring, and competent citizens? It is important, parents, to seek support to build children who are caring. We want children who are competent. We want children who are connected. And we want children who contribute positively to themselves and to others. It's important to balance children's rights with responsibilities. Protect their rights while upholding them and making them accountable for their actions, for themselves, for others, and for their environment. Also, it's so critical to foster a healthy relationship with your children. This would include time that you spend with them, how you communicate with them. There's something called positive communication, listening to them more, participating in leisure activities with them. The relationship should not always be about cursing or telling them what they're not doing right. Parenting should be a pleasure, right? It should be balance with, yes, steering them in the right direction, discipline, but also enjoying your children, getting to know who they are, what is it that they enjoy, and participating in those activities with them. Another critical point, the schools cannot do it alone, parents. They need your support. Ensure the basic that you can do is to ensure that they have all the resources that they need for school. Know what type of programs that are available outside of the regular curriculum in terms of the teaching and the learning, the math and the English, etc. What programs, what additional programs are there to help to build your child? This could be leadership programs, clubs and societies. These are what will help to build them and mold them into the men and women of tomorrow. And this is a very important point. Be an advocate for your child or your children. Sometimes they're going through something and they can't deal with it on their own. They rely on you to be their voice and to get the help that they need. So become an active advocate for your child or your children. All right, so I'm going to go into now talking about helping them to cope with trauma, coping with trauma after a crisis. Let me share with you, though, some of the behaviors that you can expect after any trauma. You may see changes in their mood or behavior. Children, they may become more irritable, angry, or even withdrawn. They may exhibit aggressive or regressive behaviors. Some of the regressive behaviors may be bedwetting or clinging on to mommy, daddy. They don't want to come out the house. They are just afraid, right? Anxiety and fear. They may show excessive worry. They don't want to stay by themselves. They are afraid of the dark. They may experience nightmares or flashbacks as to what happened. This is what we call post-traumatic stress disorder. All right. They may have difficulty concentrating. They can't focus at school, can't focus on completing activities, right? So even in class, for the teachers to be on the lookout for this, you may have the children just spacing out more often, not able to concentrate on what's going on in the present, right? Physical symptoms that they may experience, headaches, stomach aches, fatigues, and these are symptoms of the emotional distress that they are going through. You may also experience changes in their eating or sleeping habits, right? They may not want to eat at all, or their sleeping patterns, it definitely will be disrupted, right? They may eat less or more, sleep less or more, out of the normal. Children also may avoid talking about the traumatic event. Some of them don't want to remember it, they don't want to talk about it, or even avoid activities or places that remind them of it. So some of them may go into avoidance mode. Increased arousal. They may be easily frightened or have difficulty relaxing. It's like this hypervigilance, always on the lookout, thinking that somebody is coming to hurt them, constantly scanning their environment for signs of danger. And you may have some children who experience emotional numbness. They may appear like they are disconnected, they don't care, right? And this is just a psychological effect of trauma. Now, if you see these behaviors persist or they're continuing, then you want to get some help, right? So it is normal to see some of these in the first couple of days, but if you see it's persisting weeks and months, and then it's affecting their normal daily functioning, they're not getting out to school, they're not bathing, then it's important to seek support from a mental health professional. Get to the child guidance clinic, get to your guidance counselors, the health centers, so you can get a mental health professional, such as a counselor or a psychologist, to help your child get back to normal functioning. Because if it is not dealt with, it can lead to mental health illness, right? And that is very, very serious. We don't want that. So parents, be vigilant, be on the lookout, spend time with them, you know, listen to them, hear what they're saying, observe them, take notes, and be prepared. Get the support that you need, right? Because this can go really bad. So what can you do to help? I'm going to be sharing some of those tips with you. First and foremost, you want to reassure your children that they are loved and that they can talk to you about how they are feeling. Listen to them, be there for them, hug them, spend time with them. I know, not all of them might like hugging, but they have different love languages. It may be just spending quality time with them. It may be doing something special for them. Find ways to show them that you are there and that you love and care for them. Allow the children to express their emotions. They will feel a wide range of emotions. They will feel sad. They'll feel angry as well. They'll feel fearful. Let them know it's normal to feel scared, sad, or angry after a traumatic event. Be willing to listen to the fears and concerns and validate what they're saying. So if they tell you that they're really scared, you can just say, you understand, and you listen. You don't try to tell them not to feel that way, because that is how they're feeling. So validating means just to agree with how they're feeling, because that's how they're feeling. Try to maintain routines as much as possible, because it will help to bring back normalcy, right? It can provide stability and a sense of security for your children. So keeping the meal times, the bedtimes, as much as possible. It's going to be disruptive, right? It's going to be disrupted for the first couple of days, etc. But you really want to try to get back into that routine. Show and feel empathy for your children. Ask yourself, what if I was a student and this happened? How would you feel? So put yourself into their shoes. That is called empathy. I already mentioned this point, to seek professional counseling if you realize the continuation of the depression or anxiety. And, when we talk about depression, is that constant feeling of not being able to do anything. Everything seems gloomy. Everything seems sad. Everything seems, like it's that the world has come to an end. Depressive. And when we talk about anxiety now, we're talking about feeling of worry, fear, right? The hypervigilance that I talked about earlier, where they are always scanning their environment. They think that somebody's coming to hurt them. So anxiety may bring on it may even bring on panic attacks, right? So look out for that as well. And other mental disorders. What you can do, parents, is to help them with deep breathing. Deep breathing can help to relax them. So if you see, for example, the anxiety coming on, you just ask them to stop, relax, and close their eyes, and you can do the box breathing. So this is where they breathe in on 4, hold it, and then slowly breathe out on 4. And they continue to help their bodies, right, to get back to normalcy. Because when the anxiety comes on, it's as if their bodies, they go into it goes into the stress mode, right? So the heart might start beating faster. They might even shake. As I said, it can lead to panic attacks. So deep breathing is very, very important in helping them to relax. Spend some time engaging with them in leisure activities, right? Ask them to express themselves. Some of your children may like art. They might like to write. Some of them might want to do journal writing. Some of them, maybe it's music that can help them. You could be talking to somebody else, find out what it is that they want to do that will help them to relax, and try to be there, for them while they go through these activities. And these activities will help them to process. It's a lot of emotions that they're going through. It will help them to process and to make sense of all of this. critical. Parents, you want to keep positive as much as possible. You don't want to be spreading any propagandas or creating any, making things worse. Try to keep positive for yourself and your children. Try to have a positive outlook, right? Certain things that's happening is not in our control, but what's in our control is how we choose to think about things, right? So use positive self-talk and help your children to do the same. When I talk about positive self-talk, for example, when they feel scared or worried, you could let them repeat, for example, the Lord, the 23rd Psalm, right? If they know it, or what I use, at any time I might be driving and I feel a little fear come over me. I just repeat, I am divinely protected, I'm divinely covered. That is what I call positive self-talk. So you want to repeat something that helps to calm your mind. It could be a scripture, it could be one of your favorite quotes, but make sure you have something to help to bring your mind to calm and that it is positive. All right. Discuss safety and security measures with your children to help to give them a sense of security and inner peace. So talk about what it is that they fear and what it is that you can do, what plans you can put in place to help them feel more secure. And parents, the final tip that I want to share with you is that it's rough being a parent, but remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Make time for yourself. Make time to take care of your mental health, right? Because if you are constantly stressed out, guess what? The stress, you're going to show it and the children going to feel it. So stop and think about you. What are you going through and how are you dealing with it? And the same tips that I gave for the children, the 21st century is difficult. Living in Jamaica alone is difficult, right? So you need support. You cannot do it alone. Who do you have? Do you have somebody you can call? Who can help you? Look out for support. Support is critical. No man stands alone. No man is an island. No man stands alone. You cannot do this by yourself. Get all the support. Take time out for your physical health. Make sure you're doing a little walking, even 10 minutes a day. Exercise is very important to your mental health. It helps to secrete certain hormones. We call them happy hormones. So that's the first thing, right? Your emotional well-being, learn to do the deep breathing, learn to do the positive self-talk, listen to motivational videos. Be around people who are positive and empowering. Make sure you're sorting out yourself in terms of financially, your professional development, personal development, skills, businesses, whatever it is that you have to do to move yourself forward. But I don't want you to leave yourself out of the equation, because if you are broken, what is it that you will have to give your children? Right? So if you find that you need a therapist as well, go to the health center, seek out support. So those are the few tips that I wanted to share with you, and wish you all the very best. We continue to pray. And like I said on the Zoom call, prayer is the #1 factor. Pray with them while they're sleeping. Pray over them. Go in the room and pray over them. Pray when they're leaving out in the morning. When you're at work and you remember them, pray for them. Listen, parents, this is not a physical warfare. It's a spiritual warfare. And so prayer, let us step up the prayer for our children, because we're losing too many of them. Thank you so much. God bless you.